everybody. It's Mary and Erin with
Hello.
Earth and Star Spiritual Wellness Center. Erin is our vice pres, our treasurer. She's the Earth from Earth and Star, and she's here today to talk about her role at I Shine Inner Fire Retreat. How the heck are you doing today, Erin?
I am doing great. How are you?
I'm great, thanks. We were singing a wonderful little song before we came on here. That's not how it goes, but that's how it goes when I sing it. What I really like about how we showed up today without planning this is that essentially you're looking at right now between these two screens, the yin and the yang, okay? You know, like she's the earth, the foundational piece of all of this. She's wearing white, I'm wearing black. You know, she takes care of the human aspects of every girl. I was not going to wear black. I was like, I'm not wearing black on this interview. I don't want to wear black. I want to be more playful than that. And Spirit over and over and over again kept showing me my black shirt. Wear that one. Wear that. I promise it'll be good. And then I put it on and I had like this crazy tag sticking out and it was irritating me. I was like, I don't want to wear it. But, you know, it worked out for the best. But I guess if I'm black, then that makes me the yin. So I get to be the girl.
All right.
You have to be the boy as the yang. But that works out perfectly because what Erin does in all of this, and she's going to share a little bit about her role with the not just with the retreat. We are going to talk about that specifically so that you guys who are coming know what to expect from her as a facilitator. But we're also going to talk about her role with Earth and Star in general and what she has to offer with all of that. So he is here for all of this, but she is the warrior piece in all of this. She shows up as the warrior. Her personal business was called Holistic Warrior Arts. And we have a past video where she's teaching us some of those. Say it.
Hodari Jua?
Moves. She's teaching us some of those moves and some self-defense. But if you missed the part where I flipped her over my shoulder, fast forward. That's the best part.
Touche.
It's the best part. Her hobbies are chopping wood, changing car oil, and kissing girls. Welcome, Erin.
Thank you. Thank you for that intro.
You're welcome. So, as a whole, at Earth and Star, most people know my face because my face is the one that's out there as the teacher doing all of these things. But we don't often get to see the other people behind the scenes. And it's important that they get to know you as a facilitator and as the earth part of Earth and Star and as the yang warrior part of our yin yang. So I want people to really know what you have to bring, what you offer. So can you tell us a little bit about your role in Earth and Star?
In a nutshell, I feel like I'm the safe space or the calm after the storm, or maybe even the calm within the storm. You know, if you think of the eye of the hurricane, you know, there's still a lot of chaos going around, but the center is the most calm place. And especially in healing, while we're going through all of that chaos, trying to heal, you need a safe space to do that, to navigate through all of it and dissect what's going on. You know, who you are, so you can see the parts that's not really you, that the world around you and that the people in your life have made you believe that you are. And you can dissect that and figure out what is you to keep and what is not you and what to let go. And without a safe space to do that and a calm stillness, it's hard. And it's even more hard when you feel alone. Like it's your journey to walk and my journey to walk, but we can do that just side by side, just support. And that is the role that I bring.
Which is super important because I give the teachings and do a lot of healing sessions where I'm like, okay, I've ripped you completely in half. Go move out into the world. Do your homework.
Yes.
And I feel like this is why you're so important and why you play such an important role, because you're there to nurture them through that growing experience, to the feelings, the emotions. It is a full moon in Leo today. Just so you know, how the heck are you feeling, you Leo moon?
You know, I'm going with the flow. And it's a good feeling.
I feel great. Look, I feel great under this Leo moon. And everyone's like,
Yeah.
because that fire is coming up. So it's almost like one of us has a lot to do with the spirit and the other one has to take care of the human. But it's more than that, because you're not just taking care of their human and their emotions, you're teaching their spirit, you're coaching their spirit in how to be a human.
Yes. Yes.
Peacefully.
Yes.
That's the key. That's the key word there. We're teaching the spirit how to live in this human realm peacefully. And you're really good at that. I feel like I'm a very nurturing person, but I'm not as good at, in my opinion, holding so many emotions of people and the ups and downs and all of that kind of stuff. Just for you guys, me and Erin fight a lot. Okay. We argue like all the freaking time, guys. Seriously. And it's because if she has an emotion and comes to me with it, I'm going to tell her what I see on a spiritual level. And that completely negates the human completely. And she's taught me so much about, yeah, but I'm a human and I'm feeling these things and they're relevant and I'm allowed to feel these things and I want support in that.
Yes.
And that's what you do for
Yes.
us.
Yes.
So you do this through you do a little bit of coaching, and these sessions there, you do a lot of practical teachings. Can you tell us a little bit about those practical teachings or how you kind of coach the human part of the spirit?
So with the practical teachings, it's kind of taking the mundane things in life that ideally we would take for granted, and how to hold on to the spirituality within the humanity. You know, we go and we do these healings or we do sessions and whatnot. We have this work and we look within, but how does that reflect without? So the practical teachings show how to incorporate that or see it, embrace it, embody it in your everyday life. You know, with things that, you know, you need to do in your physical home or your vehicle, you know, like things need to be repaired, things need to be maintained, or we want to make things, we want to create things. It's how we thrive in our physical world and let our inner world be a reflection of that. That's, I mean, I kind of feel like a Swiss Army knife, if you will. I do a little bit of everything. You know, I can do construction work. I do yard work. I love art. Any kind of art. It's expressive. So being able to share the like multifaceted skills that I have helps play a role in that in people's spirituality to help get to know themselves. You know, so we learn ourselves spiritually and who we are on a soul level, but then we have to learn how to express that in everyday life so that we feel aligned. We're living in alignment with ourself. And inevitably, when we do that, it'll fit into the world exactly how it's supposed to.
So your practical teachings, they're going to be being posted for
Yes.
the members, for the dignitary members that we have on the website, correct?
Yes, I'm really excited about that.
Good. But then also you are available for booking for
Yes.
readings and healing sessions on the website at earthandstarwellness.com, guys. Erin's on there. But also you bring lab groups, which are free for all members, free members, the public, and you're going to be doing this at the retreats. What is a lab group?
Lab group stands for Life's Anonymous Battles. You hear about different support groups that are out there. And essentially, I came up with this group, this idea when I was going through my own healing journey. And it started, and I was like, what do I need? What do I want? And that's that safe space that, that I was talking about, that calm within the storm. And it is a beautiful thing to be able to find that center, to find your home. But when you find that, it's even more beautiful if you can share it. And it's hard to do that when you're lost or hurt or feeling broken, your world is shattered, sort of vibes. It's hard to put this in the words because it's so big. A lab group is that safe space. And we can come together, everybody in their own walk of life, their own path, whatever your struggles are, or even your triumphs. It's a vulnerable place still to share your triumphs too, because, people will have their own opinions and thoughts and whatnot, and you just want a safe space to share whatever it is that you have. So the lab group is designed for that. It is a safe space for support. It is not a place for advice or like correction, no criticism, no judgment, none of that. You can come and express yourself, whatever you're going through, and be held in like a cocoon of love for who you are at that moment. All you have to do is show up. And everybody in the group respects that and honors that, because we're all here doing the same thing for the same purpose, which is healing.
I love that. And just the showing up itself can be healing.
Yes.
Because sometimes that's the hardest part. Is just showing up.
It is the hardest part because it is a choice. It is a decision that you're making. Yes.
And once you make that decision, once you put that intention there physically, that's when everything changes. You change your trajectory, you change your direction. So I know that at the retreat, this is going to be, your lab group is going to be in person around a sacred fire. Do you have anything to say about that? Because I saw the excitement light up your face about being in person around that fire.
It is different in person and with fire. I love working with fire. It is such a powerful element. I mean, all of the elements have their own power. And maybe it's my Leo that I love fire. But there's something. What?
Just right there, that was perfect though, because your Leo moon means Leo is fire and the moon sign is the emotion sign. So how fire transmutes emotion, and that's like literally your natal chart. This is you as a person. So it's like you were born to do this.
Yes.
Sorry, well, go ahead.
No, but that is it. That is the epitome. It's like you have that element front and center. And as humans, sometimes it's hard to us to grasp something that's not in front of us. We're so physical, tangible. We want something to hold on to. And it's a good tool to have. Like when you can't find it within yourself to have it and hold on to it physically, mentally, emotionally, you can see it in front of it. You can experience its warmth. You can feel it physically. And then when you honor that element, you can give it all to the fire. So when we're sitting there and we're in this lab group amongst other people doing the same thing, it's exponential. And the fire is almost like the core and the center of it all. So it brings that element, the point, the principle front and center. And you can feel it, tangibly. And I feel like it hits a lot different than having a virtual group or whatnot, over distance, because you're there. It adds that extra element of being present, like fully.
Now, when we're doing this virtually, they will get just as much from showing up and being present, but how can they bring that fire element into it virtually?
I love that. So for me, I like candles. I feel like they're easily accessible. You know, it's a contained, safe fire, but it's still a flame. So you still have that energy present, and you can imagine, you know, your energy in front of you going to the flame. But if everybody, you know, ideally had a candle in the group virtually, then we're still connected, you know, across the world. Just
Mm-hmm.
that energy, because we're all tuned in at the same time with the same intention. So we're still all connected, even if it is virtually.
I love that. So I'm just getting this little sense here. Okay. My spidey sense is tingling. But even if you're virtual, and I'm looking directly at you guys, okay? Even if you're virtual, the best way to be present is to turn your freaking camera on. Everyone wants to show up to these groups, but keep their camera off so no one can see them, right? They want to be there, but then like turn their camera off or turn their mic off and just like, I'm
Just
here.
be there. Yes. I'm glad you said that, because even in creating this group, you know, you think of the anonymous part.
Mm-hmm.
You know, a lot of people go to different support groups and they want to remain anonymous. They don't want people to know what's going on, you know, because there's a lot of guilt and shame, you know, projected onto them. Like, it's hard enough carrying your own feelings around that, and you're literally trying to work through it, but then you have that other, you know, outside force. The whole point of this is to not be anonymous, is to not feel like you have to hide, because you're not the only one going through these things. You're not the only one trying to heal from something. Your journey may look different from somebody else's, but that's okay. It's the point that you're struggling with something and you're trying to work through it and you're showing up. Like, that's the point.
The visual I'm getting from listening to you channel right now is that, you know, we have all of this baggage that we're hiding and carrying around, and we show up at a group and we try to hide it more, even though we've made the decision to be at that group. But it's almost like the energy of that is completely different, because being connected in the group, being connected through the flame, it's almost like it draws that baggage out, and we're giving those things away so that we don't have to keep carrying them.
Yes, I love that visual. You know, and especially like you say, to the fire. Like, you know, you I imagine, you know, showing up, you know, at a gathering and whatnot, and people typically will bring food or whatnot. Everybody wants to bring something, and it's like a happy get together. And in this case, you know, we're healing, whether that be, you know, excitement over a new milestone that we just made it through, or, you know, trying to get to that milestone. We're bringing our baggage, and it's like, oh, you know, what did you bring, you know? But it's seeing what people show up with and how they carry that, and then how they also let it go, and they can offer it to the fire, which is then transmuted, turned back into just beautiful raw energy to become something else. I love that analogy. I love it.
The potential of what it could be, because it's important that you mentioned that. You mentioned earlier, like, no advice, no judgment, things like that, because quite often what happens in a circle of empaths is people show up with their baggage, and when they put it down, someone else picks it up.
This is true.
And that's where it ends up with advice, or you should do this, or it's now my responsibility to hold this person's emotions. It's now my responsibility to try to fix this for that person. But you said that's not what we're doing. We're not giving our
No.
baggage to other people. We're giving it to the fire.
Yes. Yes. And that's the beauty of it, is we're there to honor each other. You know, we honor the fire as well, and that energy and what it does for us. But this is where you get to experience what that feels like, you know, to see someone else and love them exactly as they are in that moment, and receive the same in return. This is yours, this is mine, but we are here together, just holding space for each other while we walk our journey, while we're on our path. And to experience that is beautiful.
I have a tear, like not coming out of my eye, no emotion, but I have a tear like in the back of my eye. You see it?
I see it. It's right there.
So how would we, and that's such a beautiful thing. And people really, really need this. They need the support that's offered. And there's like other support groups out there, but this one is different. This one's specifically designed for your emotion. And I don't know of any other groups like that. They're usually designed around like addiction support or disease support, things like that. But this is emotional support just for everyday life, specifically people like our audience who are on their healing journey.
Right.
So how does this look, like logically? Like how, when we're at the retreat, for instance, and everyone's in person, how does that look? How do people show up to a lab group? How does it work?
So ideally, we're all going to show up in a gathering, whether we are literally around the fire with the fire in the center or, the fire kind of front stage. But we show up and we're going to take up that space. And what that means is you're going to honor that you're there. You're going to put your energy into that space. And you're going to support the other people that are in that space. I had mentioned the cocoon earlier. I think you referenced that on a video, and I loved it because that's what I imagine the space feeling like. It is a safe cocoon of love, unconditional, and it's just encompassed in that moment, in that space for this purpose. So we show up, we put our intentions there, we're heart-centered, and then we share, and we'll take turns, sharing, and that may look different. Ideally, we want to express what we're going through, and whether that be one word or a sentence, whatever needs to come out, that's the space to do that. We honor whoever it is taking the turn speaking. We let them speak. And we hold that space for them. And, when their turn's over, then we move on and we go around so that everybody gets a chance to do that. I feel like this is a good time for like the rules, for like the structure, if you will.
Yeah.
Because it is a free space, it's kind of like the unconditions, but we have to have a structure, like you said, because when you get around a group and other people, you don't want to pick up their baggage. You don't want to take it on as their own. So that's why we kind of keep these principles in mind. So when we're there, again, I said, be present. If you're new and you're learning, or you're still, testing that uncomfortable waters of healing and being vulnerable in a group space like that, to be present, just put your name out there, just to verbally express that you're here and acknowledge that, so that's our way of physically expressing that we're here. I'm acknowledging that, just put your name if nothing else. And then we want to support and allow, and that's supporting the people while they're talking, allowing people to express themselves without the need or desire to try and fix them, or vice versa. And respect and honor. Respect the people, respect the space, the trees, the elements. It might even be raining one day when we do this, but we want to have respect for that, and then respect for the fire. At the retreat, this is going to be like a sacred fire. It'd be slightly different than the virtual setting with a little candle or whatnot, but it's still all about intention. And we want to honor the fire for what it is and what it's doing for us and that transmutation. So, if you're at a physical fire, you don't want to put, trash in the fire. You don't want to put that energy in there. You want to have respect for that. So be present, support and allow, and respect and honor. Those are our 3 principles that we're going to embody anytime we do a lab group. And that's
beautiful. I love that.
How it's going to look.
I like that you brought that element in, because we sometimes use elementals rather than working with elementals. So it sounds like, this is a blessed sacred fire. We're there to take to use its medicine, allowing it to transmute the baggage that we're putting down into potential energy for whatever we intend for it to be used for.
Yes.
Beautiful energy there. But then we're respecting ourselves by being present. We're respecting other people by just listening to them and supporting them energetically and emotionally without giving advice
Yeah.
or judging or anything like that. Just loving them, that cocoon of love, and then respecting the fire by only feeding it the things that are intentional and special. And
Yes.
we're feeding it our baggage, but that's how we work the medicine. So
Yes.
I'm kind of envisioning like we'll just like everyone goes in a circle sharing their baggage into the fire, sharing how they feel, sharing their stories. Um, do we do this one time and then everyone's better? What does this look like?
So typically you want to do it at least twice because the vibration changes. Once you go around the circle once, it's you kind of released and you feel different. And so to be able to go around the circle again and hear and experience that release for yourself, you can see the changes in real time of what that's like to release it, and then how your energy has changed, the energy has changed around you in that space, in that cocoon. So ideally you want to go around twice and it be able to experience that shift, but
I
the whole
just saw
point,
it.
yeah, the whole point is to go with the flow. So you have a plan and an intention, but that's all that matters is the intention.
I
uh,
saw like the first circle, everyone's giving to the fire. In the second circle, everyone's receiving their potential energy from the fire.
Yes, yes. So with the retreat, I love this idea. I was talking about how we like something physical to hold on to as a representation or whatnot. So, we metaphorically offer our baggage to the fire, but I want each person to have a stick or a piece of wood that they offer to the fire. And they can set intentions, put whatever they want, into that, whether it be things they want to let go, things, that they want to manifest, anything that makes them feel good and aligned to give to the fire physically. Um, so that'll be an offering that each person gets to make to the fire at the retreat as part of that lab group. And then on the receiving side, our physical representation, I want to be chocolate so that we can receive the energy by on the opposite end of giving it away, so we can feel and experience that full cycle.
I love that because wood burns. It actually transmutes into another elemental. Alchemy is happening. So it's
Yes.
that physical representation of giving your story, your emotions to the flame. So you're speaking this stuff out loud and letting yourself be supported and then watching it burn away through the stick. And then the second time around, when you're sharing again your feelings and you're receiving that potential energy, you're also imbibing of chocolate. And Pachamama loves chocolate. Don't get me started on cacao because that's going to take a whole left turn. But I love that. But now during virtual lab groups, this piece still feels important. So, when they have their turn to share virtually over the link, how can they do that also from home with their
I mean,
candle?
you can still do the same thing. I guess it is a little different with the candle. You can still eat some chocolate too, when you're at home, and set the intention and the vibe so that you are releasing. I have a set jar, if you will, that I can burn like little scraps of paper so that it's safe and contained. If they wanted to do that, they can, and use the candle and have something maybe written on a little piece of paper as their physical representation to let go of or to manifest, however they want, to transmute that. And then turn around and like eat some chocolate, and then that feels good in all kinds of ways. to receive that and kind of honor the cycle of when we energetically put things out there and it's transmuted, sometimes that energy is felt immediately. The changes are felt immediately. Sometimes they're seen and reflected in our lives very quickly. And sometimes it takes time. You know, it's even as like eating a piece of chocolate, you know, it's not just poof and gone. Like it actually has to go through our body and be digested and processed. So that's okay. And we're honoring that cycle by doing that. Like that it will come in its timing, whatever that looks like. And we're grateful for that.
I love that because I do want to do this at home with my own special chocolate. And I feel like it would be easy enough, you know, to have your candle there. You're on the link with all of these other wonderful people. And when it's your turn to share, I can say, man, my day was this because I'm allowed to be human here, right? In Erin's group, I'm allowed to be human. Okay.
That's right. Yes. Yes.
So this is how I feel. And now I'm going to take this piece of paper and burn it and watch it be gone. Let everyone else finish sharing. And then when it comes back to me again and I share again, then I get to eat chocolate because I know I feel better. And chocolate just makes everything better. What if they're allergic to chocolate?
Well, then we'll have to come up with a just as equally yummy alternative that can satisfy all those senses.
Yeah, we'll have to do that. I threw that at you, but I don't even know the answer. Like that just
I'm like,
came.
Well, I mean, I don't either, but again, it's all about intention. I mean, it could be anything really, whatever floats your boat. Like,
Can I state a personal opinion?
yes, you can.
A personal human opinion is that I don't think people who are allergic to chocolate are real. I think that they've made it up and they just don't like being happy.
Okay, so I'm gonna call my brother out on here. So I can't wait for him to watch this video because he claims that he's allergic to chocolate, and
He doesn't like being happy.
I giggle every time he says it because he's really not, but it's cute, and I love him. So I love you, bro.
Well, as the earth part of this, go ahead and throw our disclaimer out here that we're actually not encouraging people who are allergic to chocolate to eat chocolate.
Oh, for sure. If you're allergic to anything, do not do that. If you're trying to find a stick or something in nature and you're like allergic to whatever is out there, don't use that as your resource for this project.
You can use toothpicks or paper or anything that floats your boat.
The only thing that matters is your intention for whatever you're using.
And it kind of reminds me of ceremony, right? So at the retreat, we're doing so many ceremonies that the lab group is super, super important because it's the only place where you actually just get to process all of the things happening to you in the other ceremonies. But
Yes.
it in itself actually is also a ceremony because you are physically doing something that's transmuting all of that energy. So it's a ceremony of transformation. It's pretty cool if you think about it. Yeah.
It is. Well, and it kind of goes back to that whole analogy of like eye of the storm. You get to just be. And you've done all this work, you're going to this session and doing this, and you're going to this session and doing this, and now you can just be. And while you're being, you are feeling all of these feelings, but you're able to understand them. Oh, wow, I'm feeling this specific emotion, or I'm feeling this specific emotion. And you may not have been aware of that because you're just too busy in the chaos and in the movement, but you get to just be. And it's okay for whatever that looks like. You can be happy, you can be mad, you can be sad, scared, excited, confused, and you can be all of the above. Like it is a ceremony, but it's different and it feels different.
I like that because as you were talking, I was seeing that eye of the storm. And everything that's going on could be, your circumstances or things happening in your life, or even just your emotions in general could be that storm.
Yeah.
But then through community support and being held in that cocoon space and being able to share and show up for yourself, it's almost like they get to just sit in the eye of the storm and observe all of those things happening without having to be those things happening, without having to know
Yeah.
how to fix them, without having to know what to do next. They just get to be, like you said, there. That's kind of what I was seeing when you were talking.
Well, and I see this also, especially like at the retreat, is practice. And it's just a little mini session in itself, but practice what it feels like to find that stillness. Our slogan at Earth and Star as a whole is welcome home.
Mm-hmm.
Well, that center, your center, is your home. And all of this healing, all of these sessions is your guide to find that. And so this is like practice, so that when you leave the retreat and all the fun is over and you go back to your daily life, let's get back to the grind, you still know how to get back to that center because you've practiced it. And when you go back to work or you go back home and you have family, friends, school, work, life, that is practice for how you can do that for yourself. It is a tool, an experience that you can use that's endless, it's limitless. And I feel like this is a way that it all ties in together. So you learn what that experience is, and you get good at it, and you can do this anytime, not just at a retreat or not just in a lab group with us, but you can do it at a moment's notice anywhere. When life gets chaotic and you're like, oh, I don't have a retreat for another so many months, or oh, the lab group just passed, I need this again. You can have that, and you can practice it yourself whenever you want. And I think that that's awesome. And that's why I'm so excited to do this and offer it so people can experience it.
So we will be doing those lab groups before the retreat, at the retreat, and then after the retreat. So that's also important for the people to know, because there's going to be people who aren't coming to the retreat, but they still need access to the lab group.
Exactly.
So all of the members can have access to the lab group. It's free. And then after the retreat, it's important to know for the retreat members, because there's going to be a lot that they're processing after, so that they can still come and receive that support and transmute that energy. But what I really loved was when you talked about the home being your center, because I do want to talk a second about your specific intention for the retreat itself, for what you're bringing there, because how I have seen the retreat specifically is that we're building a house where people find their home. And a house is filled with many rooms. And so each facilitator is like a room. And these, we're welcoming in these members and these clients, and they're going from room to room in ceremony with each different facilitator. And each facilitator has to have a specific intention, what they are called to bring to the retreat and to these people coming. So when you go into this room, you might be getting this particular thing from this facilitator, not just the ceremony itself, but there's an energy vibe to it, if that makes sense. So when you are coming to the retreat as a facilitator of these lab groups, what is your intention for this retreat? What does your room hold?
It's funny because as you were saying that, I imagined what that room would look like as a safe space, because that is what my room is. My room is a safe space for your room to look however it needs to look. That is it. It is. I don't know how to describe that as if I were just describing a physical room, because it's almost a blank canvas. So it can be whatever is needed in that moment.
I like that you used the word safety or safe space, because one of the things that we teach so much in spirituality is how safety is a human thing, not a spiritual thing, because the soul doesn't get hurt, the soul doesn't die. Like all of that stuff is purely human and purely physical. And safety is something that's really kind of represented by our root space, our foundational space. So you're actually not a room, you're the foundation of the house. I love that. Oh my goodness. Welcome to our house. Okay. That was pretty profound. Thanks, Erin. You are the foundation of the house, the safe space, the stability that holds all of the other rooms. Wow. Well, we've talked about lab groups. We talked about, your intention for the retreat, specifically your role with Earth and Star specifically, and how you have your healings and practical teachings and a little bit of that coaching, that community support. Is there anything else that you want people to know about you, what you bring, what you have to offer, anything that you're planning as far as upcoming offerings or events, anything at all you want to say?
I'm going to hold off on the upcoming events and whatnot. We'll let that be a surprise, and I'll have to come back and find out. But in general, I just want to send that open invitation. We talk about the lab groups and these spaces for the retreat, and then the monthly, virtual meetings and stuff. But I also offer that one-on-one, that mentoring, that safe space. It's different from other sessions, a healing session of any sort, soul retrievals, an illumination, things like that, of just energy work. But just that mentorship is also available too, if they do want that on a one-on-one.
Beautiful. I love that. It's very heart-centered. I can see that. I feel that love connection and the desire to just love, I think,
yes,
is kind of
what
I'm feeling. Yes, but there's a stability, a safety, and a protection. That's a pretty big piece of what I'm sensing as well. It's like there's this force. I'm sensing like a love thing that's very constant and stable, but then there's this force behind that's just protective, roaring. The warrior thing is happening. So I guess if anybody wants somebody to fight for them, you'd be a pretty good.
Yes, I'm your girl. Let's do it.
If you need to go to war about something, Erin has your back.
That's it.
Well, thank you so much for coming on today, Erin, and letting everybody see your face again and get to know you a little bit better about what you have to offer, what you bring to the table. And hopefully we'll all get to see you again soon as you're offering those practical teachings. Yes?
Yes, I'm very excited. I mean, I appreciate the opportunity and you doing this with me so everybody can meet me.
Thanks, everybody, so much. Make sure that you head over to our website, earthandstarwellness.com, to check out when we have those lab groups posted, sign up for memberships so that you can take advantage of all of this. Our free memberships, you get the lab groups because those are free. And with those free memberships, you are also signed up to receive promotional emails so that you know in advance before everyone else when we're having upcoming events. And when you know in advance, those things are usually discounted. So that there's a big advantage to being a free member, but also paid memberships. You get 15% off one-on-one healing sessions, as well as exclusive content. So these are where Erin's going to be posting some of her videos. I've got some videos posted there. And you get to share personal stories there that get posted. You get to post questions that you want to ask. So even if you don't have a healing session or mentorship, if you post a question in that community, your question will be answered and posted anonymously there. So you get a lot of perks out of being a member of the Earth and Star community. And sign up for this freaking retreat, guys. We have a few tickets left. And if you go to our events tab on earthandstarwellness.com, you can see the retreat. It's a 3-day all-inclusive retreat. It's all of these facilitators, your lodging, and your food. So it's really set at an amazing price to include so much. So make sure that you get your ticket before they are gone. Okay.
Yeah.
Thank you so much, Erin, for coming on. We'll talk to you guys later.
Thank you. Bye.